written, directed, and edited by Josh Trank, so immediately off the bat I was like, oh shit. Josh Trank has had a reputation in Hollywood as one of the most difficult people to work with, some on-set behaviors I will not mention on this channel. You can look it up. You can look it up on like Wikipedia or something, but for me, when I'm going into a movie, I have to separate the art from the artist, and especially separate the artist from their personal life. I've learned to do that with Mel Gibson, so that's kind of how I approached this movie. I was like, let's just see what Josh Trank has in the tank here. Let's try and give a critical evaluation without trash-talking Josh Trank, and we'll go from there. Capone stars Tom Hardy as Al Capone. It is a chronicle of the final year of Al Capone's life. It is also a study of his mental state after past criminal deeds have come back to haunt him. I like a lot of gangster pictures. I mean, Goodfellas, the Godfather movies. Public Enemies, I think, is a very underrated movie with Johnny Depp as John Dillinger. Capone is kind of bad. This is not the gangster picture I thought I was going into. This is a gangster movie slash horror movie hybrid, and that meshing of two different genres just doesn't work. There are all of the sequences that are violent in this movie are literally the sequences that are made to look like horror movie sequences, and they just feel like they should be in a whole different movie. Or if you're going to concentrate on that as a way to illustrate Capone's mental state and his mental health, focus more on that, because they're not really focused on all too much. You only see like one or two sequences about how his past criminal deeds have affected him and his mental state and his mental health. I needed more of that. Much of this movie is just Capone sitting around and talking and insulting people and shitting his pants. I mean, seriously, that was disgusting. I will say this movie shits itself more than Al Capone shits his pants in this movie. It also tries to make you sympathize with a character who is so poorly written and comes across as vile, egotistical, psychotic, and just disgusting. So how am I supposed to sympathize with somebody who has all of those and just growls at people the whole time? I mean, seriously, let's just get into it now. Tom Hardy's performance. His performance has received a very polarizing reception from critics. A lot of people think he's really good. A lot of people think he's really bad. I'm on the bad side. I was hoping I would be somewhere like right in the middle. I was hoping to tell you that his performance would be very similar to how he portrayed the Cray brothers in 2015's Legend, and how he kind of put his own spin on Al Capone. But honestly, if I'm going to watch anything with Al Capone, I'm going to watch The Untouchables. I'm not going to watch Tom Hardy play Al Capone in Capone when you can't understand a goddamn word this guy says. For how many movies within the past 10 years has it been so hard to understand Tom Hardy? How has it been so hard to understand what he's saying? Why can't he just say stuff that we can comprehend? I mean, Bane, I could comprehend Bane for the most part. I couldn't comprehend anything he said in Lawless. I couldn't comprehend anything he said in Warrior. Couldn't comprehend a goddamn thing he said in The Revenant. I could sort of comprehend stuff he was saying in Venom, but even then I couldn't even comprehend that. In this movie, this is what his performance consists of. Did you just understand what I said? I don't even think I said anything. I might have said something. I don't know. I just growled the whole time, because that's what Tom Hardy does in this movie. He just growls at everybody. He just growls the whole time. And it's just like, dude, come on, Tom Hardy. Like, I like you as an actor. Can you, like, act? I mean, I don't know. Maybe that was just him, like, reading the script and being like, this is absolutely terrible. I'm just gonna phone it in, you know? This movie definitely feels like it's either a rough cut or the script only went through one draft. Because it's not written very well, it's not directed very well. It's got some strange sequences, almost like Josh Trank had all these ideas that he just wanted to throw into a gangster movie, but it's very haphazardly put together. And the script just feels like it's haphazardly written. There's no care or effort put into anything into this movie, except for the makeup and the costume designs. I thought that those were done really well. They actually did a good job with the makeup of making Tom Hardy actually look like Al Capone. I thought that was a really good job. The costumes really captured the period of the Great Depression. I thought that those were really good, but everything else just, nothing falls into place. Nothing in the script or the directing flows at all in this movie. There's some strange sequences. I've already talked about one. And then there's a strange sequence towards the end. And every sequence in this movie where something violent happens, you're left questioning as to whether or not it's actually happening. And you really don't find out until about probably 10 minutes later. Because that one sequence I was talking about before is about 15 minutes. This end sequence is like 10 minutes. And then I was like, holy man, like he definitely hates everybody. And then it's like, well, did that actually happen? I have no idea. The music for this movie also just does not fit a gangster movie for me. It's a very haunting and daunting, terrifying musical score that tries to build suspense and tension, but it belongs more in a horror movie rather than a gangster pick. It's mostly prominent in those scenes where we're trying to go through his mental psychosis, but even in the other sequences, it's like Josh Trank relied on the music to build tension, and nothing is ever built to coming to a head. None of that tension is there. None of that suspense is there. And I feel like that's why I was insanely bored. I just kept waiting for something to happen because of all the musical cues and how the musical score was playing out. Nothing ended up really happening except for those sequences where we're inside his mental state of mind and that strange finale. And I've already alluded at it. Again, this movie just feels like it's a bunch of ideas crammed into a movie that have no logic or flow to them. And it was just something that Josh Trank wanted to do. It was just like, all of this will work well in a gangster movie. Let me just put all these into this script, into this movie, visually, using all the visual aids I can use, and it's like trying to find breadcrumbs. That's the best way I can describe it. Capone is not a very good movie. This is one of the most boring movies I've seen. Nothing really happens in this movie. I wish that they had taken a different route with the gangster/horror movie hybrid approach. I think you should have went for one or the other. Tom Hardy, I think, is awful in this movie, and the music just doesn't do it for me. There's a lot of strange sequences. It feels like a very rough cut or first draft of a script. It's not very well directed. I wasn't a fan of this movie. I'm going to say you will like Capone if you like that stale popcorn. Like I said earlier, if I'm going to watch a movie that has Al Capone in it, I'm going to watch 1987's The Untouchables with Robert De Niro playing Al Capone. I think that's a better portrayal of Al Capone. So what did you guys think of Capone? Drop me some feedback in the comment section below. I will leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You will find all my links to my social media accounts at the end of this video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you at the movies somewhere.